Throughout history, Stoic philosophers have mastered the art of inner strength and emotional control. They knew the secret to living a life where others naturally value you. Today, I'm going to share 7 timeless Stoic strategies that will make people beg for your presence and value your essence. These are not manipulative tricks. These are ways to elevate yourself. Let's dive in. Strategy 1. Control your emotions. Have you ever felt like your emotions are controlling you, pulling you in directions you didn't choose? Anger, stress, frustration, emotions can feel overwhelming. But what if I told you there's a way to take back control no matter what life throws at you? In today's video, we're diving into Stoicism, a philosophy that offers timeless wisdom for managing emotions. The Stoics believed that we can achieve inner peace by focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. 1. Understanding the dichotomy of control. The cornerstone of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control. According to Stoic philosophy, there are things we can control, like our thoughts, actions, and responses, and things we can't control, such as external events or other people's behavior. When we focus on what we can control, we shift our energy away from worry and anxiety and towards personal growth and resilience. 2. Emotions are responses, not dictators. Stoicism teaches that emotions are natural, but we should remember that they are not dictators. They are responses to our thoughts about events, not the events themselves. The Stoics believed that our initial emotional reactions are involuntary, but how we respond to them is entirely up to us. So the next time you feel anger or frustration rising, pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, is this emotion helping me, or is it controlling me? Third, practice premeditatio malorum, foreseeing difficulties. One powerful Stoic technique is called premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This means mentally preparing for things to go wrong before they happen. By imagining the worst-case scenario, you build emotional resilience. This doesn't mean being pessimistic. It's about facing reality with a calm, grounded mindset. So when difficulties do arise, you're less likely to be blindsided by your emotions. The power of self-reflection. The Stoics were big on self-reflection. They believed that we should examine our actions and emotions regularly. Ask yourself, did I react well today? Could I have handled that situation differently? By regularly reflecting on our emotions and responses, we become more aware of our inner world, giving us greater control over how we react to life's ups and downs. 5. Amor fati, love your fate. Lastly, the Stoics taught us amor fati, which means love your fate. This mindset encourages us to embrace everything that happens in life, the good and the bad, as necessary and valuable for our growth. Instead of resisting or fighting against emotions or events that are out of our control, we can accept them as part of our journey, helping us become stronger and wiser. Controlling your emotions doesn't mean suppressing them. It means understanding them, accepting them, and choosing how to respond. Through Stoicism, you can find inner peace and emotional mastery, no matter the chaos around you. Share your thoughts below. How do you manage your emotions? And remember, stay calm, stay strong, and keep growing. Strategy 2. Master the art of listening. We're diving into something we often take for granted, but it's one of the most powerful tools we can master: listening. But not just any listening. We're talking about how to listen the Stoic way. So, if you're ready to strengthen your mind, relationships, and inner peace, stick around, because mastering the art of listening can transform everything. In Stoic philosophy, listening goes beyond just hearing sounds. It's about attentiveness to both others and yourself. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, advised, "Learn to be silent. Let your quiet mind listen and absorb." The Stoics understood that by listening, we open ourselves to learning and understanding, which ultimately leads to wisdom. But how often do we find ourselves truly listening rather than waiting to speak? Too often we're distracted by our own thoughts, emotions, or just the noise around us. But according to the Stoics, listening attentively allows us to respond with reason rather than react impulsively. Before we dive into how we can improve, let's explore why we often fail to listen. According to the Stoics, one major obstacle is our ego. Epictetus, another well-known Stoic philosopher, said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." Think about that for a second. When we believe we know everything or feel the need to impose our opinions, we miss the chance to listen and grow. It's the ego that convinces us that our voice is more important than someone else's. When we let go of this need to dominate a conversation, we can practice what the Stoics call apatheia, being indifferent to the noise of the ego and the external world. And instead we focus on what really matters, the truth. So how do we become better listeners, especially in a world that's so loud and full of distractions? Let's break it down the Stoic way. First, practice self-discipline in silence. The Stoics often spoke about the virtue of silence. It's in silence that we can hear what's truly important, whether it's from others or from within ourselves. Next, be present in the moment. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, confine yourself to the present. This means when you're listening to someone, give them your full attention. Don't think about your response or what happened yesterday. Be here. Third, resist emotional reactions. The Stoics believed that when we listen, we should remain calm and composed. Even if the other person says something we disagree with, we shouldn't react emotionally. Seneca said, "It is more of a disgrace to be angered than to anger another." Remember, listening is about understanding, not necessarily agreeing. Now let's bring this into real life. You might wonder, how can I practice Stoic listening daily? Imagine you're in a heated conversation with a coworker or a loved one. Instead of focusing on what to say next, pause and listen to their words. Ask yourself, what can I learn here? Maybe they're offering a perspective you've never considered. Or perhaps, next time you're in a meeting or group discussion, take a step back and observe before speaking. Often, when we listen more, we find wisdom where we least expect it. The art of listening, according to the Stoics, isn't just about hearing words. It's about connecting with others, controlling our emotions, and above all, seeking truth and wisdom. When we practice listening deeply and intentionally, we can improve our relationships, our mindset, and our inner peace. So next time you're in a conversation, try listening like a Stoic, calmly, attentively, and without ego. Trust me, the results will speak for themselves. And remember, silence is powerful, but listening is transformative. See you next time. Strategy 3. Practice detachment from outcomes. What if I told you that the secret to inner peace lies not in controlling what happens, but in how you respond to it? In today's fast-paced world, we often find ourselves attached to the outcomes of our efforts, success, and failures. But according to Stoicism, there's a better way to live. Whether it's our careers, relationships, or personal goals, we tend to place our happiness in the results of our actions. This attachment can cause anxiety, stress, and disappointment when things don't go our way. But the Stoics believed we could live a more serene life by practicing detachment. So, what exactly does detachment from outcomes mean? In Stoicism, detachment is the idea of focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we can't. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus famously said, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." This means that while we can control our actions, decisions, and efforts, the outcome, the result, is beyond our control. We can give our best, but we can't guarantee success. Stoicism teaches us to accept this reality and remain emotionally unaffected by outcomes. But why is it so difficult to detach from outcomes? It's natural to want our hard work to pay off, to win, and to succeed. From a young age, we're taught that achieving results is what matters. However, this mindset often leaves us feeling powerless when life doesn't go according to plan. When we attach ourselves to outcomes, we create expectations. And when those expectations aren't met, we suffer. Stoicism asks us to shift our focus away from the result, and instead, focus on the process. Did we act with integrity? Did we do our best? That's where true satisfaction lies. According to Stoicism, our peace of mind is rooted in focusing on what's within our control. Let's break this down. Things in your control include your actions, your thoughts, your responses, and your effort. Things outside of your control, other people's opinions, external events, the past, and yes, even the outcome of your actions. Detachment doesn't mean giving up or not caring. It means doing everything in your power to reach a goal, but recognizing that the outcome may be influenced by countless factors beyond your control. Now, you might be wondering, how can I start practicing detachment from outcomes? Here are 3 practical Stoic techniques you can apply in your everyday life. The dichotomy of control. Every time you face a situation, ask yourself, what is within my control here? Focus only on those aspects and release the rest. Negative visualization. Practice imagining scenarios where things don't go as planned. Visualize the possibility of failure or setbacks. This will prepare your mind to accept outcomes, no matter what they are. Self-reflection. At the end of the day, reflect on your actions. Did you do your best? If yes, feel at peace. If no, learn and improve. Detach your sense of worth from the outcome. Stoicism teaches us that peace comes from within, not from external achievements. By practicing detachment from outcomes, we free ourselves from the anxiety of results, and instead, we focus on living with virtue, integrity, and resilience. Remember, the next time you're working towards a goal, ask yourself, am I doing my best? Am I focusing on what I can control? If the answer is yes, then trust that the outcome, whatever it may be, is outside your hands, and that's perfectly okay. Strategy 4. Speak only when necessary. In a world filled with noise and constant chatter, this teaching is more relevant than ever. Speak only when necessary. A Stoic guide. The Stoics believed that words have power, not just to communicate, but to affect our emotions, influence others, and even shape reality. According to Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, we should receive without pride, let go without attachment, and speak only when it improves the silence. Think about that for a moment. Pause for effect. How often do we speak just to fill the silence, without considering whether our words are truly necessary? Speak only when it improves the silence. Marcus Aurelius. In Stoicism, silence isn't just the absence of words. It's an opportunity for reflection, wisdom, and clarity. Epictetus, another prominent Stoic, said, "Nature gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." When we remain silent, we give ourselves time to process information, to truly understand before we respond. We avoid unnecessary arguments, hurtful words, and miscommunication. How can we apply this in our daily lives? Here are 3 practical Stoic tips. Pause before speaking. Whenever you feel the urge to say something, take a deep breath and pause. Ask yourself, is this necessary? Will it help or harm? If the answer is no, choose silence instead. Be brief and direct. When you do speak, aim to be clear and concise. Stoicism teaches that unnecessary words lead to confusion and conflict. Say what you mean, and no more. Listen actively. Practice truly listening, not just to reply, but to understand. When you're fully present in a conversation, you'll find that your need to speak diminishes because you're absorbing more than you're giving out. Now you might be wondering, why should I limit my speech? Well, when we speak less, our words become more valuable. People will listen more closely because they know we speak with intention. We also develop a calm and composed demeanor, something the Stoics valued deeply. Less talking means more thinking, more learning, and ultimately, more wisdom. As Seneca said, speech that is restrained is a sign of a well-ordered mind. In our modern world, silence is hard to come by. Social media, news, and constant communication push us to always be engaged. But by practicing this Stoic principle, we can reclaim our mental space and improve our relationships with others. Imagine the next time someone speaks to you. Instead of replying right away, you take a moment to reflect. You choose your words carefully, or maybe you don't speak at all. This mindful approach will not only enhance your personal growth but also bring peace into your interactions. Stoicism teaches us that mastery of speech is mastery of the mind. By speaking only when necessary, we reduce conflict, increase understanding, and create a more peaceful existence. If you found value in this Stoic teaching, make sure to subscribe for more insights on living a mindful, intentional life. And remember, next time you feel the urge to speak, pause, reflect, and ask yourself, is it necessary? Strategy 5. Show kindness without expectation. In a world that often feels transactional, where every action seems to demand something in return, Stoicism teaches us a different approach. It challenges us to act with kindness, not because we expect anything, but because it is the right thing to do. In Stoicism, kindness is an essential virtue. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, wrote in his Meditations, "Do not expect to receive a favor in return. Why? Because you've done it for the sake of the act itself, not for what might come of it." To the Stoics, kindness is not a transaction. It's not a tool to gain favor or to build a reputation. Instead, it's about aligning with nature, about doing good simply because it is in your nature to do so. But let's be honest. In real life, it can be hard to show kindness without hoping for something in return. Whether that's a simple thank you, recognition, or maybe even a favor down the road. This is where Stoicism helps us. Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, reminded us that external outcomes are beyond our control. We can't control how others respond to our actions, but we can control our own intentions. When we expect something in return, we set ourselves up for disappointment, frustration, or resentment. But if we let go of that expectation, we free ourselves to experience genuine joy in giving. So how can we start practicing this Stoic idea in our daily lives? Here are 3 practical tips. Number 1. Focus on the act, not the outcome. Whenever you perform a kind deed, remind yourself that the reward is in the doing. The Stoics believed that virtue is its own reward. Number 2. Detach from praise. If you're showing kindness just to be acknowledged, you'll be chasing validation forever. Instead, ask yourself, would I still do this if no one noticed? And finally, number 3. Practice gratitude for the opportunity to be kind. See kindness as a gift that you give yourself. After all, helping others aligns you with the Stoic ideal of living in harmony with nature. When we adopt a Stoic mindset, we realize that the purpose of kindness isn't to gain anything. It's about becoming the best version of ourselves, virtuous, compassionate, and connected to the greater good. Kindness without expectation is liberating. It frees us from the need for approval, and it allows us to act with integrity, knowing that we are simply fulfilling our nature as rational and social beings. So, the next time you're in a position to help someone, remember the Stoic way. Act with kindness, expect nothing, and know that you've already gained everything by being true to your nature. Strategy 5. Practice gratitude and contentment. What if I told you that the key to a fulfilling life doesn't lie in chasing more, but in appreciating what you already have? Welcome to the world of Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches us to find peace, joy, and strength through gratitude and contentment. In a world that constantly pushes us to desire more, the Stoics remind us to look within and to focus on what we already have. Let's dive into these timeless teachings. Gratitude to the Stoics was more than just a fleeting emotion. It was a foundational principle for living a good life. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most well-known Stoic philosophers, often reminded himself to be thankful for every moment. even the small, seemingly insignificant ones. A quote from Marcus Aurelius appears on screen. When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Gratitude for the Stoics was a way to shift our focus from what we lack to what we already possess. It's a conscious effort to appreciate the present, our health, our relationships, the opportunities we have, and even the challenges we face. Think of your own life. We often get so caught up in chasing what we want next, we forget to be grateful for what we already have. The Stoics believed that by practicing daily gratitude, we can cultivate a sense of peace and perspective. Contentment in Stoicism is about accepting life as it is right now, not as we wish it to be. Epictetus, another famous Stoic, said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Epictetus. Unlike modern culture, which equates happiness with more success, more possessions, more recognition, the Stoics taught that true contentment comes from wanting less. It's not about suppressing ambition. It's about understanding that happiness is a state of mind, not a result of external circumstances. We often tell ourselves, "I'll be happy when I get this promotion," or "I'll be content when I own that house." But in reality, as soon as we achieve these things, new desires replace them. How can we incorporate these Stoic teachings into our lives? Here are 3 practical ways. First, start a gratitude journal. Every morning, write down 3 things you're grateful for. It could be as simple as your morning cup of coffee, the sunshine, or a kind word from a friend. This simple act rewires your brain to focus on the positives. Second, practice what the Stoics call negative visualization. Imagine losing something you value, a relationship, a job, or even your health. This isn't about making yourself anxious, but about appreciating these things more deeply in the present. And third, reflect on what is truly enough for you. Ask yourself, what do I really need to live a fulfilling life? You'll find that often, it's less than you think. At the heart of Stoicism is this message: happiness doesn't come from more. It comes from appreciating what is. When we embrace gratitude and contentment, we free ourselves from the endless cycle of desire. We find peace in the present moment. Gratitude and contentment are not just practices. They are ways of seeing the world. And when we cultivate them, we build a life of inner peace no matter what happens externally. Strategy 6. Embrace adversity. Build resilience. Life is full of obstacles. Adversity comes in many forms: failure, rejection, heartbreak, or even unexpected challenges that throw us off course. But how do we respond to it? Do we let it defeat us, or do we use it as fuel to grow stronger? The Stoics believed that challenges aren't just something to be endured, but opportunities to shape ourselves into better, stronger individuals. Stoicism is a philosophy that teaches us how to live in harmony with nature and focus on what we can control. One of its core teachings is that we don't have control over external events, but we do have control over how we respond to them. So when adversity strikes, Stoicism teaches us not to resist it or curse our misfortune, but to embrace it. As Epictetus once said, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. But why embrace adversity? Isn't it natural to avoid pain, discomfort, or failure? Here's the Stoic perspective. Adversity is like a workout for your soul. Just like lifting heavy weights strengthens your muscles, overcoming life's challenges strengthens your mind and spirit. It's through adversity that we cultivate virtues like courage, patience, and resilience. Think of it this way: without struggle, there's no growth. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The very thing you think is blocking you is actually your path to growth. So how do we develop this mindset in the face of adversity? First, focus on what you can control. You can't change the fact that challenges will come your way. What you can change is how you perceive and respond to those challenges. When you stop fighting reality and start focusing on your attitude, your effort, and your actions, you regain control over your life. Second, see obstacles as opportunities. In every setback, there's a hidden lesson, a chance to improve. Ask yourself, how can this situation help me grow? What can I learn from it? The Stoics saw every hardship as an opportunity to practice virtue. If you're struggling with anger, it's a chance to practice patience. If you're dealing with fear, it's a chance to cultivate courage. And finally, take action. Stoicism is not about passivity. It's about responding to challenges with purpose and action. When you face adversity, ask yourself, what's the next right step I can take? Then take it. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back. It's about becoming better than you were before. Adversity, when faced with the Stoic mindset, becomes the forge that shapes us into stronger, wiser, and more compassionate individuals. Every obstacle you face is an opportunity to become more resilient. And over time, this resilience allows you to face life's challenges with confidence and peace, knowing that whatever comes your way, you can handle it. So the next time life throws an obstacle your way, don't resist it. Embrace it. Remember that adversity is your training ground. It's how you build resilience, grow stronger, and become the best version of yourself. Strategy 7. Avoid the trap of needing validation. We explore one of the most common traps we all fall into, the need for validation from others. As social beings, we naturally crave acceptance, approval, and praise. But the Stoics teach us that seeking external validation is a dangerous illusion. The Stoics believed that the more we rely on others to validate our worth, the more we surrender our inner peace and freedom. Let's consider this simple truth. The opinions of others are outside of our control, and yet we often shape our self-worth around them. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, often reminded himself that the judgments of others are fleeting. In his meditations, he wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." What does this mean? It's a call to return to our own sense of worth, a worth not dependent on how others see us, but on the virtues we cultivate within ourselves. Epictetus, another great Stoic teacher, emphasized that our power lies in how we respond to external events, not in controlling them. Seeking validation from others places your peace of mind in their hands, where you have no control. Instead, Stoicism invites you to focus on your character, your actions, and your integrity. This is the essence of true freedom. What others think is none of your business. Now you might ask, does this mean I shouldn't care at all about what others think? Not quite. The Stoics didn't advocate for complete indifference to others. They understood that we live in communities and rely on healthy relationships. But the key is not letting others' opinions dictate how you view yourself. Look at how praise can make you feel on top of the world, and criticism can drag you down. Stoicism offers an alternative. You stay balanced regardless of praise or blame. Because in the end, what matters most is how you judge yourself. Are you living according to your values? Are you acting with integrity, kindness, and wisdom? The need for validation is a trap because it creates dependency. It pulls you away from your inner compass, making you vulnerable to the unpredictable winds of others' opinions. But when you realize that the only validation you need comes from living according to virtue, you reclaim your autonomy. You become unshakable. So how do we avoid the trap of needing validation? Start by recognizing that other people's opinions are simply reflections of their own perspectives and concerns, not the truth about you. Then practice grounding yourself in the present moment, focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and values. Remember, praise or blame, neither defines your true worth. Your character, your choices, your principles, these are what matter most. Let go of the need for external validation and embrace the deep freedom that comes from self-reliance. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. Remember, stay true to yourself and avoid the trap of needing validation. See you next time.